Welcome to Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono. Our instructor has taught this process all over the world, in Australia, Korea, Japan, the Netherlands, France, Italy, the Czech Republic, and Dubai, and of course the mainland of the United States. He's an author, a lecturer, and a PhD. Here is Dr. E. Haleakala Hulen.
Welcome to the series of Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a very ancient process used by the Hawaiians to rectify an error. So Ho'oponopono itself means to rectify an error. And an error is a memory replaying in the mind. So Ho'oponopono is a very simple process of appealing to the divinity to erase that memory. So there are two types of Ho'oponopono. One is the traditional Ho'oponopono in which it's person to person. So the process is accomplished by people getting together physically and saying to each other, "I'm sorry, please forgive me." So they go around the group. But the Ho'oponopono that I'm teaching, that was developed by Morna Lama Kusimiona, is a Ho'oponopono called Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono. And this Ho'oponopono is between you and the divinity. It's you appealing to divinity to correct the error that is in you. And the error is in the subconscious, just in you. So the Ho'oponopono is a very simple process of rectifying memories as errors in you. So the way you begin is you begin at nothing. And so you begin at zero. And then as long as you're at nothing, as long as you're free, there's nothing blocking you, then inspiration shows up as God. And so divinity actually then shows you what it is that is perfect and right for you. So you experience the divinity. So at the beginning, your divinity created you in its exact likeness. And out of that likeness, as long as you're at zero, you get inspiration. The inspiration comes through. Whatever is perfect and right for you, you get perfect for everything. Then the next problem, of course, the problem arises as memories in you, and the memories create problems. They create back pain, they create heart problems, they create financial problems, but you can rectify them. And how do you rectify them? By just applying the Ho'oponopono process. So what does the Ho'oponopono process is? It's the process of rectifying memories in you. And so the way you do it is you simply do a cleaning process. The process is repentance and forgiveness. And as soon as you begin the process can say, "I love you," and thank you to the memories. Then divinity then comes down and rectifies the memory by erasing that. It erases the memory to zero and then back to yourself. And when you get back to yourself, you get inspired. And as long as you're inspired, you're in perfect relationship with the divinity, always at zero, always at infinite, the infinite. So now when I met Morna for the first time in 1982, I learned how to do this process. And the process is very, very simple to do, but the process is profound in that you're not working on anybody else. It's a process of only looking at yourself and working on the problem that's in you. And so the Ho'oponopono is a very, very simple process. I was trained, I got a PhD from the University of Iowa. I was trained to help other people, but it doesn't work. I've been doing it for years and years, almost 30 years, so it doesn't work. I came across a cartoon, and the cartoon really showed a library. In the library, under self-help, there was one person working on himself, and then under another sign called fixing others, doesn't work. So in fixing others, it doesn't work. I've had that experience. So the Ho'oponopono is only about looking at yourself, taking care of yourself, coming back to a pure heart by doing your cleaning. What's the problem? A memory playing, where in your subconscious, and the way to deal with it is to have the divinity erase the memories. And so I'm going to be teaching you several processes throughout this series. I'm going to teach you how to do your own cleaning. And in doing your own cleaning, then you can take care of yourself. You don't have to depend on any guru, any master, any priest. You don't have to, you can do this on your own. It's only between you and God. Thank you. Welcome to the series on self-identity through Ho'oponopono. What does Ho'oponopono mean? Ho'oponopono means to correct an error. And what is that error? That error is a memory replaying in the subconscious that Shakespeare noted as "for bemoan, moan, and grievances forgone." So all of your problems are memories replaying. It's something you didn't get before and are responsible for, and now you can make amends for them. So the Ho'oponopono is a very, very simple process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. So Morna Simeona, who created this process of self-identity through Ho'oponopono, was awarded or was designated a living treasure of Hawaii in 1982. She's the Kahuna Lapa'au, and I learned this from her in 1982. Now, my whole training was just the opposite. So my training, I got a master's, a PhD in education. I basically worked with children who were autistic or mentally retarded at that area, and I thought I was doing great by working on helping them and their family, relatives, and ancestors to solve the problem. Doesn't work. I was doing it for, 20-something years. It just doesn't work to help other people. So when I took the training from Morna, I realized that the problem was within me, memories replaying, and so I've been doing the Ho'oponopono now for over 26 years. And I love the process. It's a process of bringing peace to yourself, and as long as you're peaceful, everything else around you becomes peaceful. So I'm going to talk about two cleansing processes today. I love you and thank you. And so we begin with you as God created you in the beginning. Perfect. So you are perfect. We're not dealing with you as the problem. The problem is not you. You are created in the exact likeness of the divinity. You are perfect. So now, before I go into that, I want you to hear what Morna said about what she got in meditation about self-identity through Ho'oponopono.
We got a feedback in meditation. If you were able to see or understand who you are, you're able to talk to every molecule of creation. And I feel that everyone, but I think the problem with most of us is the idea we get our heads full with so many approaches, and we begin to say, is this like this or this like, but it is not. You're only talking about yourself. Just you is the most precious individual and gem in the entire world.
So the problem is not you. So out of this zero, what quantum mechanics calls zero, comes the light. So the next one is inspiration. So now you are inspired, and this inspiration is perfect information for you, for your existence. So Ho'oponopono is about erasing the memories that create the problem and allows you to be inspired. So now what happens is, as long as you're yourself, to thine own self be true, Shakespeare said. And who are you? You are nothing. The Ho'oponopono says you are infinite nothing. You're pure as a driven snow. So now the process is, I love you. I love you is a process to rectify an error. So now we take you from being yourself, and then we take you to inspiration. And then from inspiration, we take you to a memory, and it's a memory that blocks the inspiration. So the Ho'oponopono process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. And you just simply say, I love you. So you get to make amends for that. You get to take 100% responsibility for that. So I love you is a repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. And all you have to do is say it. You don't have to do anything else but say it. Now the other process is a process called thank you, and it can be done in different languages. It can be mahalo, it can be a merci, it could be anything. And as long as you say it in any language, it rectifies memories in you. So the Ho'oponopono is thank you is a cleaning process that when you say thank you, divinity then responds. And how does divinity respond? It takes that memory in you that's creating what you experience as a problem, it transmutes it to pure energy. And then it takes that pure energy and releases it into itself. And then if you're left with nothing, you're back to yourself, pure and energy. That's the Ho'oponopono process. Thank you very much.
For more information, self-identity through Ho'oponopono.com.
Welcome to the series on self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a very simple process of making amends for errors and offenses that we have committed. And so Ho'oponopono is a simple process, and what it means is to correct an error. And it's a very simple process to do, and so I'm going to explain to you how it works. And so the way it works is that you begin at zero. Divinity created you perfectly, so you are created in the exact likeness of the divinity, perfect. And then out of this zero, out of this perfection comes inspiration, direct information for living. So the purpose of the Ho'oponopono is for you to get information from the divinity so that you can go about living according to divine laws. So out of this nothing comes this inspiration. And at some point, the divinity decided to create you in its exact likeness, create you infinite nothing. So it created you spiritually, mentally, physically, perfectly. And so as long as you are you, as Shakespeare says, to thine own self be true, and you can't be false to anybody, as long as you are true to yourself, then inspiration shows up. And inspiration is information in you that you can live by. It directs you. It tells you what to do, so you don't have to be thinking, coping, and managing. You can just allow this inspiration to work in you. So I'm going to teach you a process called Ha. It's a process of breathing. And it's a very simple process. And what is the process? The process is an appeal to the divinity to rectify errors and offenses in you. So the way you begin is you take your thumb and your forefinger, then you take your pointing finger and your middle finger and you spiritualize them. So the divinity touches those two areas and spiritualizes it. Now you're into an infinity sign. This is Alpha and Omega, without end and without beginning. And you put this in your lap, and as you put it in your lap, you take your back and you put it up against a chair, or if you're sitting on the floor, up against the wall. And the reason why you're doing this is because you're allowing yourself not only to breathe for yourself, but the back represents family, relatives, and ancestors, and so you're going to breathe for them. And then the other thing that you want to do is have both of your feet on the floor. And as long as they're on the floor, then you get to breathe from Mother Earth. So this process of Ha, which is the first syllable in the word Ha-Va-E, the first syllable, is to rectify errors. So you're going to rectify errors for yourself, your family, relatives, and ancestors, and for Mother Earth. So the way you do this process is you breathe in for 7 counts, you hold for 7 counts, you exhale for 7 counts, and you hold for 7 counts. That's 1 round. And then what you want to do is you want to do 7 rounds of the Ha. And what is the Ha process? It's a process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. So it's a Ho'oponopono process that appeals to the divinity. And you're saying to the divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is going on in me that I experience as physical problems, mental problems, financial problems. And then all you're doing then is just simply doing the breathing. So the process, again, the breathing process makes amends for errors and offenses and allows the divinity to come down, takes the memory and neutralizes it, takes that neutralized energy, releases it. Now you're back to zero. You're back home again, back to yourself, and now you get revitalized, you get re-energized. You now can reclaim your identity at zero. So now you're at zero, and the divinity then comes in and inspires you, the information, perfect information for living. Thank you very much.
Welcome to another in the series in self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Our instructor has just returned from teaching classes in Australia, Korea, Japan, the Netherlands, Italy, France, the Czech Republic, and Dubai. He's an instructor, an author, and a lecturer and a PhD, Dr. E. Haleakala Hugh Lim.
Welcome to the series of Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono. Again, the Ho'oponopono process is a process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. It is a way of solving problems and the problems that are within you. And so the Ho'oponopono is a very simple and profound process of making amends with the divinity, who can erase and transmute whatever memories you have that you re-experience, what Shakespeare calls for bemoan known, grievances forgone, rebel powers in your soul. So Ho'oponopono, by simply applying any of these cleaning tools, you're then saying to the divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever memories are replaying in me that I experienced a back problem, financial problem, sexual problems, any kind of problem, or problems in relationship with other people, financial problems. So the Ho'oponopono is this simple. So I'm going to talk to you about dewdrops. Dewdrops is a process by simply saying dewdrops. Dewdrops makes an appeal to divinity. Divinity knows exactly what your problems are, why you are experiencing problems, and so divinity will send the information down from above, come down into the subconscious, then searches out. So divinity knows exactly what memories to erase. So divinity will target those memories, not you. You're perfect. You're not the problem. It's the imperfection called memories in you. So divinity targets at that, targets those memories. Then what he does is he transmutes the memory to pure energy, so it loses its toxicity, and it takes those memories and releases those memories, those energies. So now you're back to zero. You're back to holiness again, the way you were created in the exact likeness of the divinity. You're holy again, pure and done. So now the Ho'oponopono is simply applying any of these cleaning processes. You can say dewdrops, you can say I love you, you can say thank you, all of these processes that we're teaching in this series, you know. And so here's what Morna has to say about identity.
It goes as such: divine creator, Father, Mother, Son as one. Now we see Father, Mother, Son as one, relating to that spark within us, which is connected to the divinity. So this is why you're only dealing with two facets, is the divine creator and yourself, nothing outside of your structure.
So what is Morna talking about when she talks about it? And she's talking about the three selves, the superconscious, conscious, and subconscious. What people call, what the Hawaiians call the Aumakua, Ohani, and the Unipili, what psychologists call, again, the superconscious, conscious, and subconscious. But the problem is a memory in the subconscious. And so the Ho'oponopono is a very simple way of rectifying the memories. And what you do, you take your identity, everything that takes place only takes place in you, in your identity. So the Ho'oponopono is about erasing this. So I'm going to tell you a story about a monkey. So I got this information from a guy named Tim. He took the class in Cork Island. Tim realized with some horror that cleaning his way back to zero might take longer than he thought. And so the Ho'oponopono is a process that you must do moment to moment, day in and day out. And it's a process that you can do. You can train that part of you, the computer part of you, to do this cleansing. And so as you train the computer how to do it, all this information gets downloaded into the computer, and the computer is then programmed to do the cleaning. So while you're sleeping, the Ho'oponopono can be going moment by moment, day in, day out. And I think it's wonderful to be able to do this and to know you can do the cleaning while you're sleeping. Can you imagine? And you can be working on memories and problems and financial and while you're sleeping. It's just a beautiful process. Thank you very much.
For more information, self-identity through Ho'oponopono.com. Welcome to another in the series of self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Here is Dr. E. Haleakala Hulen.
Welcome to the series on self-identity through Ho'oponopono. It's kind of interesting when I travel around the world how people pronounce the word Ho'oponopono. Some pronounce it Hokapiki, some pronounce it Ho'oho, so I'm going to tell you the correct way to pronounce it. It's Ho'oponopono. And what does Ho'oponopono mean? Ho'oponopono means to correct an error. This simply means to correct an error. So the Ho'oponopono is a very simple process. I have taught it around the world. I just got back from Dubai and places like Italy and Czech Republic, France. I did a couple classes in Australia. I've done several classes in Japan and in Tokyo, and I'm going to do a business class in the Netherlands and in Germany. And so I've taught these classes across the U.S. In Hawaii. So, and the conclusion is that most people get that it's all in them. At some point in the class, they go, "Oh, it's my problems are me, and it's not about my mother or my mother-in-law or my father." So, I'm going to talk to you today about blue solar water and as a cleaning process. But first, we want to begin with your identity, and your identity is zero. So you begin at zero, what quantum mechanics calls zero, and then out of this zero comes this enlightenment, what Buddha called enlightenment, called inspiration, what Shakespeare called beauty. And then divinity at some point decided to create your identity. I don't know why, but it decided to create your identity in its exact likeness, infinite nothing. So you are exact replica of the divine creator. So now you are perfect spiritually, mentally, and physically. And then as long as you are you, to thine own self be true, you can't be false to anybody, you get inspired, and the whole world gets inspired. Everybody gets whatever it is that they need. But then memory shows up, and memory blocks the light, and so it goes against the light, and so this is a problem. And so the Ho'oponopono is about cleaning up the problem. So the blue solar water, so I'm going to talk to you about the blue solar water. Blue solar water is a process where you make the water, and the water is used to clean memories. And so the way you make the blue solar water is you get tap water, you fill a blue bottle with tap water, you leave it out in the sun for 15 minutes to an hour, and then you drink it. You can drink it, cook with it, use it anywhere. You can put it in your radiator, you can put it in your wash, you can, if you have children, you can use it with them, they can drink it. And so it's very easy to do, and all you have to do is drink it, and then the correction takes place. Yeah? So I'm going to go over this one more time with you. So blue solar water. So what you're going to do is fill tap water into a blue bottle and place it in the sun or under a blue incandescent lamp for 15 to 60 minutes. You check with your inspiration to determine the amount of time that you need for you to leave out in the sun. You cap the bottle with a non-metal cover. Then again, as I repeated, as I said, you can drink it, cook with it, water plants, put it in the laundry, use in the steam iron, rinse with, and after showering, important to drink. So the Ho'oponopono is a very, very simple process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. And drinking the blue solar water allows this transmutation to take place. So you drink the blue solar water, then the petition goes up to the divinity. Divinity then responds. Divinity sends the information down called cleansing. It takes this energy right here and it moves it into pure light. See, the blue solar water is a process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation, and it's very, very, very easy to do. And all you have to do is drink it. Thank you very much.
For more information, self-identity through Ho'oponopono.com. Welcome to another in the series of self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Our instructor has taught this process all over the world. He's an author, a lecturer, and a PhD. Here is Dr. E. Haleakala Hulen.
Welcome to the series on self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Now, one of the most important questions to ask that we rarely ask ourselves is, who am I? And because most of us roaming the earth have no idea of who we are are troublemakers. We create wars, we create all kinds of problems, we get sick, and because we don't know who we are. So this series is about identity. Who am I? And so I'm going to speak to that, and then I'm going to ask, we have a video on Morna making her comments, so the question is, who am I? And it's important to know that you are composed of really 4 elements instead of 3. One is the divinity in you, one is the superconscious, one is the conscious mind, and one is the subconscious. So these 4 elements make up your identity. So it's very important to know the 4 aspects of what they do. So when we look at your identity, what we want to do is want to know what is the role or the function of the infinity or God. So God has 3 functions. One is that it's a creator of your being. It's the one that created you. And so number 2, it knows exactly what it is, the exact tolerance for your existence on this earth. And then it also knows what your problems are. And your problems are memories in the subconscious, and it knows what they are and how to rectify them. It can send down, this is the God in you. It can send down the information that erases the memories, because it knows exactly who you are. Erases the memories, purifies them, releases them, and gets you back to your origin, which is nothing. You are nothing. And as long as you are nothing, you become everything. So identity is a very, very important question to ask. So I'm going to ask to see what Morna has to say about identity.
The 3 minds, which is the subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious, as a totality of one.
What Morna is talking about is the 3 aspects of mind, the superconscious, conscious, and subconscious, what the Hawaiians call the Aumakua, the Ohani, and the Unipili. These are very important beings. So what is the role of the superconscious? Superconscious is that part of you that connects you to the God. And that part is very important, because one of the functions it has is that it can modify whatever is sent up for to be amended. So the superconscious looks at it, sends it up to the divinity. Now the conscious mind has the ability to take responsibility. It can say, I'm sorry, or it can say, no, that's somebody else's problem, that's not mine. But the conscious mind has this ability to rectify the problem. So one of its functions is to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. So if it's willing to do that, then it can be set free from these memories that bug it. Yeah? So let's say it can do any of these processes. I love you, thank you, any of these processes in this series. Yeah? And so it begins the process. So now the subconscious then has a very important role. It holds all of the memories. It's where all the bugs are located. This is where your sickness is located. If you're having health problems, if you're having financial problems, if you're having any kind of problem, it's memories replaying in the subconscious. And you can teach the subconscious how to let go. So the Ho'oponopono is about letting go and letting God. And all you have simply to do is to apply any of these cleaning processes. I love you, thank you. And if you do, then your identity gets rectified. You get back to 0, and getting back to 0, you become inspired, and you hang around with the divinity who can feed you. And so now you're into the flow. You're into ease. You just begin to flow and flow and flow until more memories come up and block the flow, and then you can begin the cleaning again. You can clean and clean, and any of these cleaning processes. But the cleaning process is simply about, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And so you're saying to the divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever I'm experiencing as a problem. The problem is in me. It isn't anywhere else. And it's not in my mother, my grandparents, not anywhere else in the universe. It's in me. So the Ho'oponopono is a simple process of rectifying errors.
For more information, Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono.com.
Welcome to the series on self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a process of problem solving. The process is an ancient process, of a Hawaiian process. It's a process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation of errors playing in the memory bank as memories replaying. And so the process is very simple. You simply say, I love you, or thank you, or you simply make an appeal to the divinity in you to rectify those errors by erasing them. And so the Ho'oponopono is a very, very, very simple process. So today I'm going to talk about the Lady of Freedom. The Lady of Freedom represents for the Hawaiians the Aumakua of this great country. That is the spiritual part of this great country. And so Hawaii is the only state in the Union that's passed legislation that honors the Lady of Freedom. And so the Lady of Freedom is really a clay model that was used to create the copper model that sits on top of the U.S. Capitol. So years ago in 1980, Morna was visiting the Washington, D.C., and as she was visiting, walking in front of the U.S. Capitol, she heard this little voice say to her, do you know who I am? And she looked up and she said, you are Pocahontas. And the Lady of Freedom said, no, I'm the Lady of Freedom, the Aumakua, the spirit of this great country. So Morna began her long search to bring the Lady of Freedom to the attention of the U.S. public, particularly to the U.S. Congress. So she solicited the assistance of he was then the U.S. representative from Hawaii. He is now a senator from Hawaii, Senator Akaka. She got him to get involved in the process. And so Senator Akaka introduced her to the architect of the Capitol, George White. So she visited with George White, and she got him to agree to allow her to raise $25,000 to renovate the Lady of Freedom. So the whole process began by Morna raising this money. So it basically came from students from across the country. And so she raised the money, and then she offered it to the George White, the U.S. Capitol, and he provided other resources. And then the Lady of Freedom was renovated, and she ended up in the Russell Rotunda. And then years later, through this process, the Lady of Freedom was moved to the U.S. Capitol Visitors Bureau Center, where she's now located. So this great lady represents the Aumakua, or the superconscious of our great country. And so as I travel around the world, we discover that every country has its own Aumakua, or freedom. And so, for example, in Canada, it's George Vancouver. So now if you're visiting Washington, D.C., you can go down to the U.S. Capitol Center and visit with her. And again, this work of Morna resulted from the cleaning. And so as she did her cleaning, the different people who showed up, the people who were right and to direct her where to go to look for funds, so we raised the fund, the right people to show up. Senator Kaka showed up, the U.S. The curator of the U.S. Capitol showed up, Will Allen, and so as Morna did her cleaning, all of these people showed up. So today, if you're in Washington, D.C., I would recommend that you visit the Lady of Freedom in the Russell Rotunda. She's beautiful. I mean, absolutely beautiful. And then we have the King Kamehameha, who is also the Aumakua of Hawaii, is also in the Russell Rotunda. So you get to visit both of them. Thank you very much.
Welcome to another in the series of self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Our instructor has taught this process all over the world. He's an author, a lecturer, and a PhD. Here is Dr. E. Haleakala Hulen.
Welcome to the series of self-identity through Ho'oponopono. What is Ho'oponopono? Ho'oponopono is a problem-solving process to correct an error. And the error is simply memories replaying again a problem that you had before. So if you have headaches or if you have financial problems, you've had it before, you didn't correct it, so it's showing up one more time. So the process is a very simple process of saying to the divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is going on in me that blocks me from really receiving the light from you, and without that light, I'm going to be sick. So Ho'oponopono is a very simple process of making amends, correcting errors, and the errors are simply in you. How wonderful to know that it's just in you, and not in your mother, not in your father. It's your perception of them. The memories that we perceive as other people as judgment and fear and anger and resentment. So Ho'oponopono is a simple process of asking divinity to erase that. So I'm going to talk about the word Hawaii. Now the word Ha in Hawaiian is the breath of the divinity. The word Y in Hawaiian is the water of the divinity. So the blue solar water represents the water of the divinity, and the E in Hawaii. So it's Hawaii. The E in Hawaii is the divine. So again, one more time, the word Ha in Hawaii, the first syllable in Hawaii is the breath of the eye. The second Y is the water of the eye, and then the E is the eye itself, divinity. So when you say the word Hawaii, it's a cleaning process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. So it's very simple to do. All you have to do in your mind when something comes up, some annoyance, irritation in you comes up, and all you have to do is say to yourself, Hawaii. And again, Ha means the breath, Y means water, I means divinity, and Ho'oponopono, Hawaii, the breath and the water of the divinity. Morna Nalamaku Simeona is the creator of all of these, of the basic self-identity through Ho'oponopono. And this is what she has to say about identity.
Each of us has three aspects to our mind: subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious. But within the realm of the subconscious is the fear, the emotions that we put into there. It's the animalistic part of us. And our conscious mind is the one that has the sense of reasoning, and so it reasons, it sends a message to the subconscious. Subconscious gathers together the forms, the color, and maybe the molecules, the cells, whatever is required of that particular case.
So identity is simply the three aspects of the mind, so the spirit, the conscious mind, and the subconscious. So when you're working on problems, you're only working on the problems that are within you, and so the process is very simple. Anytime something comes up and you experience annoyance, irritation, financial problem, any kind of problem, it's just a memory replaying, and the memory is in you, and so you get to make amends. You can either hold on to the memories and get sick, or you can decide to make amends and do any of these processes. Hawaii, the water, any of these processes can lead you to coming back. You can reclaim your identity from those memories and become zero again, and out of zero, then the light shows up, and you're free again. You're moved by the divinity, inspiration, and as long as you're inspired, whatever is right for you, whatever is perfect for you, right relationship, right sources of income, right places to live, whatever is perfect and right for you, it will show up. So I want to thank Morna Simeona for creating self-identity through Ho'oponopono. I've been using the process for 26 years. I used it as when I was a psychologist in the psychiatric unit at Hawaii State Hospital, where I worked with lots of psychiatric patients. Thank you very much.
For more information, self-identity through Ho'oponopono.com. Welcome to another in the series in Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono. Our instructor has just returned from teaching classes in Australia, Korea, Japan, the Netherlands, Italy, France, the Czech Republic, and Dubai. He's an instructor, an author, and a lecturer and a PhD, Dr. E. Haleakala Hugh Len.
Welcome to the series on self-identity through Ho'oponopono. When I travel the world, many of the classes are done in other languages. So as I speak in English, the classes need to be translated. For example, I was in Korea, so in Korean, in Japanese, and when I was in the Czech Republic recently, it was translated in Czech. And so as I go around the world, including in France, the language, we translate the different prayers in the different languages. So what happens at the beginning of each class, we do the I am the I prayer, and the purpose is to clear from our minds any problems, any memories of problems replaying in the class. So I'm going to do the prayer in Hawaiian for you now. Ovao no ki'i. Pua mai a mai kapo I loko, a kama lama lama, o wao no ka ha, kaumali ola, o wao no ka poho, ke ka ele ma waho a e no kaya pao, ka I, ke kino iho na mea pao, ka e ao I ku u pio ana anui nui, ma waho a e no kaya pao, ka ho o mao mao o na manao a me na mea pao, o wao no ka ho, a me ka ha, he huna kamakani nahi nahi, ka hua huna o kumalipo o wao no ka I. The prayer is a Ho'oponopono process. It's a process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. As I mentioned in the other series, the Ho'oponopono is about rectifying errors. Errors are simply memories replaying in the subconscious, and the subconscious holds all these errors and offenses. So as we do the cleaning, with the I am the I prayer or any of these cleaning tools, we make an appeal to the divinity, who then has the power to release, to erase, to transmute the memories back to pure energy, releasing that energy back into itself and leaving zero. And so now you get back to zero, your original state of existence. So the question is, who am I? Of course, you are created, you are a divine being created in the exact likeness of the divinity, so you are a perfect being. So what is the problem? A problem is not you. A problem is a memory recorded of a past error that sits in your subconscious. So the subconscious is a computer bank. It holds all of the memories since the beginning of creation that you have committed, created, accepted, or accumulated. It's in your computer bank. So the Ho'oponopono is only about recovering your identity. And what is your identity? Zero, nothing. So Ho'oponopono is about erasing the memories in your subconscious so you can get back into this pure state of being and then be hanging around with the divinity who can feed you whatever information that you need that's perfect for living. The information that right business, right relationship, right family ties, right everything, and so it's a beautiful process. So the I am the I is one of many processes that we teach around the world, and it's a process of saying to the divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever memories are replaying in my soul that I experience as pain. So you can do the I am the I, as we've indicated in other series. You can be drinking solar water, you can say I love you, you can say thank you. You can do any of these cleaning processes, and they're very simple to do. And how do you do it? You just do it. So how do you do the I am the I prayer? You just say it. How do you do the drinking of the solar water? You just drink it. How do you do I love you? Just simply saying I love you. And what are you cleaning? Who knows? Only divinity in you knows. Because the conscious mind only holds 15 bits of information, while the subconscious holds 11 million per second. So we have no idea what we're cleaning. We're clueless. So thank you.
This has been Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono. For more information, Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono.com. Welcome to another in the series in Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono. Our instructor has just returned from teaching classes in Australia, Korea, Japan, the Netherlands, Italy, France, the Czech Republic, and Dubai. He's an instructor, an author, and a lecturer and a PhD, Dr. E. Haleakala Hugh Len.
Welcome to the series of Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is an ancient, updated Ho'oponopono process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. It is a problem-solving process that the Hawaiians have been using since the beginning of creation. So the process is very simple. What you're simply doing is you're appealing to the divinity in you, and the appeal is saying to divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is going on in me that I'm experiencing my problem. So it's not about blame, it's not about, but it's just about taking total responsibility for what is going on in you. So the Ho'oponopono is about being yourself. Shakespeare's very important process inside of saying, listen, just be yourself. And when you're yourself, everybody else can be themselves. You will get inspired. Everybody else that will get perfect inspiration just because of you are willing to be yourself. So peace begins with you. And by being yourself, you can bring peace to everybody. So I'm going to read to you in Hawaiian the Peace of I prayer, which is a cleaning process. Kamalohia o ka'i, o kamalohia no me oi, ku'u malohia a pauloa. Kamalohia o ka'i, o vau no kamalohia, kamalohia no na vau, a pau no ke'ia, va a mau loa aku, a hava aku vau I ku'u malahia ia oi, vahu aku vau I ku'u malahia me oi, a ole, ka malahia o ke au, aka ka'u malahia vale no, ka malahia o ka I. So the peace of I, like all of the other processes, is a process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation. It has the same power as I am the I prayer, drinking your solar water, saying I love you, saying thank you. So all of these different processes is saying to divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever is going on in me that I am experiencing a problem. And the problem is simply having petitioning divinity to have the problem erased. The process of transmutation, divinity moves the memory, releases the toxicity of the memory, we have pure energy. The pure energy is then released into storage, and then you're back to zero, back to yourself, and you become whole and complete. So being nothing is really being whole and complete, being holy, being complete, being free, being peaceful. That's what the Ho'oponopono is. Returning you back to that state of holiness by reclaiming your identity from memory. So it's interesting that Morna was sharing with me that when she got the I am the I and the peace of I prayer, she heard the divinity in her say, lay down. She was walking along the beach and she heard the divinity say, lay down on the beach, prostrate yourself towards the ocean. So she laid down on the beach looking, being her face pointing to the ocean, and the divinity said, I'm going to say these prayers 3 times and only 3 times. So he said the prayer in Hawaiian in the I am the I, and then said the prayer, the peace of I, and Morna had to translate these prayers. So all of this information that Morna got came in Hawaiian. And so she took the different items that she got, the identity, how to do the cleaning, all of that she got in Hawaiian, and she then translated it into English. And so I feel fortunate to have learned this process from Morna Lama Ku Simeona, who is designated a living treasure of Hawaii. And really, my life is blessed. I have children, grandchildren, who now, as I do the cleaning, whatever comes off of me will come off of them. And so as long as I'm at peace, they will be at peace. My children and grandchildren, the world, the universe. And so Ho'oponopono is when you do the cleaning, it's about releasing the crud from you, and as you release it from you, it gets released by the divinity across the cosmos. So when you let go, divinity is able to let everything else go. Thank you very much.
For more information, Self-Identity through Ho'oponopono.com. to another in the series of self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Our instructor has taught this process all over the world. He's an author, a lecturer, and a PhD. Here is Dr. E. Haleakala Hulen.
Welcome to the series of self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a very, very simple problem-solving process. It's an ancient Hawaiian problem-solving process. And so the process is very simple. It includes your identity, and in your identity, specifically in the subconscious, you have memories replaying, and it is those memories that replay problems that you've had in the past, what Shakespeare called for be moan. You're playing the problem over again, and so the Ho'oponopono is about bringing those memories to an end and ending the experience of whatever problems that you're experiencing, be it financial or material or whatever. So Ho'oponopono is a process of repentance, forgiveness, and transmutation, asking the divinity to erase the problem in you so that it takes you back to zero, and at zero you're free, no information playing, and then you get inspired with information from the divinity, perfect information for existence. So I'm going to give you a cleaning process called silence pills. So the silence pills is about women's hatred for men, and anybody can do it. It can be either done by men or by women. So silence pills helps to erase memories of women's hatred of men. Mentally say, I take silence pills. The cleansing process will take memories back to zero, allowing love to manifest. Silence pill is to be used by both men and women. So if you're in a relationship and there's anger or resentment or anything going on in this relationship, then the silence pill as a process can be used. But it's a process of taking you back to your identity. So who am I? I am nothing. And then as long as I am nothing, then you become enlightened. And as you become enlightened, you get whatever information that's perfect and right from you, from the divinity, and you act according to that information. And you don't have to do anything but just be yourself. So the Ho'oponopono is about releasing memories, the memories that are in you that create problems and blocks the light. And the Ho'oponopono process is a very simple process of making amends for those memories. And you take silence pills, and you take silence pills, the divinity transmutes the memories and removes the memories, takes you back into the light. You're home again, perfect information for living. So the Ho'oponopono is a very simple process of making amends for errors and offenses. Errors is in your soul, called memories replaying. And so the process is you just do it, and any of these processes will work, whether it's silence pills, I love you, thank you, blue solar water, dewdrops, the whole kit and caboodle, any of those processes can work. And all you have to do is say them. You don't have to think about them, you don't have to believe in them, you don't have to mean it. All you have to do is say them. I love you, thank you, silence pill. And the divinity is then willing to do its part by taking those memories and transmuting them, taking the memories back to pure energy, releasing the pure energy back into storage, and then you're zero, and you're free, you're back at zero again, you're back into your identity, and then as you get back into your identity, you become enlightened, and all the information that you need, you get, perfect relationships, perfect money, perfect source of anything, and you're free. And so the Ho'oponopono is about freedom. Freedom from what? Memories replaying. So it's like Shakespeare talks about the freedom of the soul, and so the soul is where the memories are kept, and the Ho'oponopono is only about releasing those memories. And it's, again, as somebody told me in Brno, Czech Republic, the process is brutally simple. All you have to do is do it. And when you do it, divinity has to do its part. It has to take those memories and transmute them to pure energy, release them, and then you're back home again. You're back home again as yourself. Thank you.
to another in the series of self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Our instructor has taught this process all over the world. He's an author, a lecturer, and a PhD. Here is Dr. E. Haleakala Hulen.
Welcome to the series of self-identity through Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono is a very ancient Hawaiian process of problem solving. And what does it problem solve? What is the meaning of Ho'oponopono? The meaning of Ho'oponopono is to correct an error. And where is that error? The error is always in you, and specifically in your subconscious. And in your subconscious holds all of the woes and the problems that you have, whether they're physical, financial, material. The problem is memories replaying, and what Shakespeare is saying, you're just re-experiencing them. So the Ho'oponopono is a very simple process of rectifying these errors, appealing to the divinity to make amends for those errors that you experience as memories replaying in your soul. So I'm going to talk about a very important lady, and the question is, who is Morna Nalamaku Simeona? So Morna Nalamaku Simeona was born in 1913, and she transitioned in 1992 at the age of 79. And over the years, she developed this self-identity through Ho'oponopono, and for her work, she was designated a living treasure of Hawaii in 1982. So Morna has a very, very simple but profound statement. And this statement says, if we can accept that we are the sum total of all past thoughts, emotions, words, deeds, and actions, that our present lives and choices are colored or shaded by this memory bank of the past, then we can begin to see how a process of correcting or setting aright can change our lives, our families, and our society. So what is Morna talking about? Morna's talking about Morna's talking about the fact that we are really history, that all of what we are experiencing today is historical. It's past. It's memories replaying. So if we're experiencing gallbladder problems, financial problems, any of those problems, they're just memories replaying. It's memories that we didn't get the last time, and the divinity is giving us this lifetime to get again. So the process is very, very, very simple, and the process is only about saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. So any of these processes that I've talked about, I love you, thank you, blue solar water, any of the other processes that will be coming up, the process is just saying to the divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever memories they're replaying in my soul, and I would like to make amends for them. So the process is very, very simple. So I'm going to talk about the fact that it's not my job. So I was in Germany one day doing a class, and I was visiting a chocolate factory on the Rhine, and didn't buy any chocolate, but this statement came up as a placard. So that's not my job. This is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have done. So the Ho'oponopono is about accepting responsibility. That once something comes up, you notice that every time there's a problem, you are always there, and so the process is very simple. You look at yourself, what's going on in me that I'm experiencing this problem, and you begin the process of cleaning, and the process could be any one of these processes. It could be I love you, thank you, blue soul water, any of these processes, and these are processes where you appeal to the divinity, and the divinity says to you, okay, you're willing to rectify, and I'm willing to make amends. So what happens, the divinity sends the mana down, erases the memory, takes it back to zero, releases the memory, and you're home free. Thank you very much.
Self-identity through Ho'oponopono.com.